Holy shit. Welcome back into another episode of Craven, some motherfucking Raven. So what happened? It went down. The first round is over with. We can rejoice. Everything that we said was going to happen didn't happen. Everything we said that was going to happen did happen. It all went down in the first round. That rhymes. Holy shit. I'm just going to be breaking down the new Raven and everything that went down in the first round and the things that shocked, surprised, shock, and awe, which is the only way I can describe this draft because I've been all over it, covering it left and right, and you never know what's going to happen. But you know what? It happened, and it did. Everything, I'm in shock and awe by what went down. First of all, I opened up my computer and it was on MyBookie. I started with $100, ended up with $22 by the time I placed all my bets. But now I'm sitting at $84.13. So that means I won some money. Damn straight. I'm going to go over that maybe another time. Look up the bets because I don't know specifically how to look up the bets and say what won what. But for right now, I'm just going to be talking the draft. So I'm just going to get right into it. If you're listening to this, you know already that the Ravens drafted Marquise Hollywood Brown. Welcome, my man. Welcome to the Ravens flock. I'm excited to see you. You know, I haven't seen any of his interviews. I literally just watched the draft with one of my buddies. You know, I was at his house. We were watching the draft, and then we ended up going to Hooters, get some wings. Hooters is a weird place because you think it's all going to be creepy dudes, but it was mostly women in there. So, you know, hashtag free the nipple. But we were there watching the draft. I was checking on my phone, looking at different YouTube live streams, checking out the actual coverage of the draft with commercials, and god damn it, I can't believe the Ravens drafted Marquise Hollywood Brown. Now, I expected them to trade back. I thought they would. But you know what? I thought, I had a dream that the Ravens are drafting Clelin Ferrell. So I was just kind of going with that because I had the dream and I was betting on the fact that I had premonitions. You know, I had the ability to see things before they happened, but goddamn, Clelin Ferrell made it nowhere near the Ravens. You know, the Oakland Raiders, they talked about making a surprise pick, and damn, Clelin Ferrell at number 4? Are you kidding me? Wow. Shock and awe. That's all I can say. Shock and awe. But to get to the important things, Marquise Brown and what this means for the Ravens. Obviously, Eric DeCosta is a new type of GM. Because goddamn it, these past 2 years in the draft, it is a completely new way of drafting and seeing the field. They've gotten two, not high-end, but, first round shockers, getting the splash pick of getting the most electrifying guy in Hollywood Brown this year, and then last year getting the most electrifying guy in Lamar Jackson. This is fucking wild. Now, reasons I like this pick is because he's going to see tons of one-on-ones, and I can only see this going great for the Ravens, as long as he's able to take a hit and see the field. But it's the same questions that I had about Lamar Jackson. Is he too small? What happens when he takes a hit? Well, I guess we'll fucking find out. And how serious was that Lisfranc foot injury? Apparently he's full go, but goddammit, we got the guy who's going to beat people one-on-one and take the top off of defenses. This is going to be huge for Lamar Jackson in the near future. This year, possibly. He catches 2 long bombs a game, and we're singing praises that Eric DeCosta is a fucking genius. Now, if he gets injured, he's a fucking sham and he did terrible, and we need a new GM. I'm not saying that, but, that might be the narrative. But listen, Hollywood Brown is all flash. And when it comes to the new era, this offense is going to be about pounding the rock and flash. When it comes to these 2 draft picks already, or there's 1 draft pick meeting up with last year's first-round draft pick, they're going for shock and awe. No, I was surprised it was going to happen. A.J. Brown was my top wide receiver, but the first wide receiver taken was Marquise Hollywood Brown to the Ravens. The first wide receiver taken. You know, there's questions about when the first wide receiver will go. I even took a bet on it, and I actually won money on that because the over-under was at 19 when the Tennessee Titans were picking, and they didn't take one. Who'd they take? Yeah, Titans, they ended up taking Jeffrey Simmons, the man who beats himself, or beats his girl. Which, okay, before I get into Hollywood Brown a little bit more, when we were at Hooters watching, they had ESPN on, ESPN's draft coverage. And when Jeffrey Simmons got picked, they were singing his praises, all this, but then they showed the video of him punching that girl. They actually showed the video. What kind of message is ESPN trying to show? Like, I get it, it's fucking terrible, but they have never done anything like this. Never. They have never, on a national family-oriented program, decided to show a guy beating up a girl. What kind of message are they trying to send? I get it. Jeffrey Simmons already sent that message. That's why, with the injury, plus the beating of a girl, he was supposed to go later in the draft. That was supposed to be the narrative. But he went high in the draft. And they decided to show the tape. They didn't do this when Tyreek Hill got drafted. They didn't do this when Joe Mixon got drafted. They didn't show the tape on live TV coverage. They talked about it, showed it later, but not right away. They're trying to send a message. They are owned by Disney, a family-oriented company. And the draft, it's a professional sports. It's for the family. And they decided to show it. Very shocking. What does it mean? I don't know. Very crazy. But man, Darnell Savage in the first two? Wow. There's so much to break down, but I really just want to get into Hollywood Brown, even though I've said that already multiple times, and I've started talking about him, but then gone on other things. But that's the way it goes when it's just me by myself. You end up going on rants. That's the way things go. But man, I'm excited for this upcoming year because he is going to get nothing but one-on-one looks on the outside, and he is going to catch some bombs. We're going to run past the Hollywood. I really only thought Hollywood was gonna work on the West Coast with that Hollywood name. But you know what? He's coming to the Ravens, and Eric DeCosta has a fucking plan to get some flash on the offense. I was thinking when they trade back, which is awesome, that was the common theme. They're going to trade back, so they got a 4th and a 6th. I do believe, off the top of my head. They got a 4th and a 6th round, so that means I believe we have 2 4th-round picks and 3 6th-round picks. It might be 3 and 3. It's kind of fucking crazy because those are the money rounds. That's where you get your value. Or use those picks, package them, and then get up into the second. Genius. If Marquise Brown was the guy all along, then you done went ahead and got some free picks. Good on you, EDC. Good on you, Eric DeCosta. But with Marquise Brown, I'm putting the over-under of yards at 800. Is he going to go over? Is he going to go under? You don't fucking know, because that's the sketchiness that comes with a first-round wide receiver. My buddy pointed out to me earlier, wide receivers, they shouldn't go first round. Look how far out they are off the ball. And it makes sense. They are so far away from the ball that they're not really part of the play until you throw it to them. I know that's kind of weird, but it just goes to show, the value of the wide receiver is, hey, get away from the ball. That's you. You go ahead on the other side of the line. But man, the Ravens went out and got the flashiest receiver out of anybody. They were the first to go wide receiver, so it was either now or never, because they either get the best wide receiver on their board in their eyes, or they get their 6th, 7th, 8th, maybe even over 10th guy in the 3rd round. The way the the picks are now. I'm curious to see because I thought offensive line, but they're going flash. They're going shock and awe, and I really like this. When I saw him get drafted, when I saw the video, was he the first crier? Was he the first guy to go up on stage crying? His dreams have come true. He's excited for his new stage in his life. He was the first guy to cry. I was surprised. I didn't see any other guys crying. It's just awesome to me. Build that track team around Lamar. You got the speed with Lamar. They're going to be playing up against zone coverage all fucking season because the DBs, the defense, they have to be watching. They have to be looking at Lamar because he could take it off at any second. And that allows guys like Marquise Brown, Hayden Hurst, Mark Andrews, Willie Snead, all these guys to find the soft spot in the zone. And if anybody in this draft is good at finding the soft spot and getting open when they're not pressing him, it's Hollywood Brown. This could be a match made in motherfucking heaven. A.J. Brown was my top wide receiver, but I'm not mad at Marquise Hollywood Brown. That's a great pick. The only questions you have are size, size and weight. He's got the speed, he's got the ability, and I think size is overrated. Too many times we've seen guys who are small who make it in this league, and I am all about it. I'm just super excited because finally, oh my god, I've covered this draft so fucking long, and I have been so invested that I am finally glad that this first round is over. I got to watch it, got to see everything live. Everything was going down. Man, I'm just hyped, excited, scared for other defenses. I'm ready to get this season going. I will do a breakdown of Marquise Brown probably later. Go in depth, probably do some research on him, like family history, other stuff. But listen, Nate. Whew. This is a new era. Okay? This is a new era. I know, if you're listening to this, you are craving some Raven as much as I am. And I am so excited that they're changing up the formula of the way they draft. I know first round receivers, that's a sketchy thing to do, and the Ravens haven't been great at drafting wide receivers, but they've never drafted someone like Marquise Hollywood Brown. They've never drafted the flashy guy. And for whatever reason, this has been a very defensive-heavy draft, so guys like him fall. But he could be just as good as any of the other top wide receivers drafted, when it comes to flashy guys, and I could see him having major success. But if you're talking other things in the first round that surprised me, all right, Clelin Ferrell at number 4. Huge surprise at the top of the draft. No one saw that coming. I didn't see it coming. I thought he was going to fall. He was one of the safest defensive players to draft, but I did not see him going that high. Another one, Daniel Jones, New York Giants fans. I am so sorry. I think Gettleman lost a bet to some Illuminati buddy and was like, you can't ruin a franchise. You won't. And first you trade Odell Beckham. You lose. Fuck, who's that? Who's the guy in their back end, their safety? It doesn't matter. Basically, they traded Odell, and Gettleman was saying, no. Eli's our guy. It's all about the team. So let's go ahead and then draft his replacement, and it's going to be Daniel Jones. Oh, I get it. He worked with the same coach the Mannings worked with. But wow. Just wow. Just because he worked with the same guy the Mannings worked with doesn't mean he is a Manning. You got lucky with Eli. I mean, you didn't even draft Eli, so shut the fuck up. He got drafted by the Chargers, and he was like, nah. Or more like his dad was like, nah. So you're gonna, man, wow. I'm just sorry, Giants fans. They really blew this one. See some other picks. I know there were some other. I am so surprised Dwayne Haskins made it all the way to 15 without trading back. So you're telling me the fucking Giants went and got Daniel Jones at 6. He would have been there at 17, but they're like, no, we need Daniel Jones. No, you fucking don't. Because I think Dwayne Haskins is the best quarterback out of all of these guys. And he made it all the way to 15. No trade needed, okay? The Redskins, they had a plan. They were probably trying to trade up. They're like, no, too rich. We'll just wait. We'll either get some other guy who can help our team, or if someone happens to fall. And you know what? Dwayne Haskins fell to them. Genius. I love what the Redskins did there. Oh, man. Whew. Yeah, Noah Fant to the Broncos. So now Joe Flacco has no excuses to have success over there, right? And then when the Eagles traded with us at 22, it was like, why are the Eagles trading up? Who are they getting? And then me and my buddy, we started talking, like, hey, the Texans are right behind the Ravens. They could trade up in front of the Texans to get a tackle. And then the Eagles ended up getting Andre Dillard, which is a good pick, I guess. He is seen as a first-round guy. And then the Texans were fucking, oh, man, what the hell? You went up and got your tackle guy. So we still have to get a tackle. That was the plan this whole time. They were probably trying to get Andre Dillard. Like, I bet the Eagles were on call with the Ravens. They were like, listen, you want to give us some picks? Because we know the Texans, they're trying to grab Andre Dillard. Come up and get him if you want. And they did. And then the Titans, they were stuck. They still had to get a tackle, so they had to get Titus Howard. I don't think he was first-round ready. I saw some first-round hype on him, but I didn't really. And then right after that, at 24, I lost some money on this bet. Because the over-under on Josh Jacobs' draft position was at 24.5. So either he gets picked by the Oakland Raiders here, or he doesn't. He goes after. And I thought he was going to get picked after. I didn't see the Raiders doing this. But goddamn, they did. Lost some money on that. But you know what? It's whatever. And then Marquise Brown, baby. Ooh, I'm excited. We got some flashy offensive players. Let's go. I could see him having so much success. I'm telling you, would have rather had A.J. Brown, but you know what? Marquise Brown, just another Brown. Get some Hollywood action on the East Coast. I like his style. I'm gonna watch more of his tape tonight. I'm gonna roster bait over this, But some other surprises. The Seattle Seahawks, what do you know? Going fucking buck wild again with their draft board. Getting L.J. Collier, who probably would have been there in the 3rd round. I don't know. I did hear some hype about him as of late, but it's late hype. So is it all smoke screens? Usually it is, but in this case it was not, because the Seattle Seahawks felt comfortable at taking him at 29, which is crazy to me. TCU, are you kidding me? I remember seeing some of his tape, and it was like, all right, he's all right, maybe like 2nd, 3rd rounder. But, I would have rather had Charles Omenihu. I thought he would have gone there. Are you kidding me? And then the first cornerback taken, DeAndre Baker, New York Giants. What the fuck are you doing? I get it, Greedy Williams, he doesn't like to tackle, but he is the most locked down corner. And he is going to be going at 33, 34. He's going to be going in the top 5 of the 2nd round. Oh, man. This draft is crazy. And and then the Falcons at 31, they traded up to get Caleb McGarry. McGarry? Who? Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. If you also, during this draft, were like, who? Who is that? Yeah. Why the fuck did the Falcons do that? I don't know. Elton Jenkins was still there. Eric McCoy was still there. Well, I guess this is a tackle, so I don't know what other tackles. Cody Ford was still there. Cody Ford is still available, so wow. So the Ravens have motherfucking options. If they want to get back into the second round and pick up a good offensive lineman, there is still tons left on the board. And the buddy who I was hanging out with, he is a New England Patriots fan, and the Patriots grabbed N'Keal Harry. I know Sonny from SCG Sports, he's probably pissed about this. I was telling my buddy, like, he's really good. He's really good if you can scheme him up, which is the way most wide receivers catch balls in the league. You know, it's not about can you get open. Most passes are schemed up, and he is great in the open field. I was trying to tell him, listen, he's great in the open field. It's just sometimes when I was watching his tape, when he goes in his route and he tries to make a cut, he tries to do a move, right? Which is what every wide receiver does. But if that move doesn't work, he tries another move, and another move, and another. He just gets happy feet like Jamal Lewis in the backfield. But if you scheme him up, get him the ball in the flat, he'll take it to the house for you. That's just because I was with my buddy who is a Patriots fan, trying to tell him, hey, he's good, man. But goddamn. Just looking at my MyBookie, man, I only lost $20 after spending so much money. I made a good amount. That's not too bad for the first time betting on sports. Not bad at all. Not like a 45% win percentage right there. So, not bad. You know, I just wanted to go over the first round, instant reactions. I had a couple beers, but now I'm chilling. You're watching the whole thing. I'm going to do some more tape on Hollywood Brown, really go deep into things. I really look into them. And then tomorrow's going to be the second round and the third round. So I'll do another reaction video to that or podcast to that. But man, super excited, glad with the pick. You know, I was never going to be pissed off unless it was just so atrocious, unless we did what the Giants did and just completely trashed the whole team and said, fuck you to the NFL world. But you know what? I like the Marquise Hollywood Brown pick. It makes so much sense for the Ravens. Put some speed around Lamar. Get a guy who can always get open, especially when it comes to the fact that Lamar gets wide receivers open just by the fact that he can run. Just the sheer look of Lamar scares teams, leaving the secondary open to get sniped on. And I think Hollywood Brown is the biggest sniper when it comes to wide receivers. You know, he must have been first in their wide receiver board because he was the first wide receiver taken. Good on you, Eric DeCosta. Stick to your guns. They saw wide receiver as the biggest need, and they went and got their guy. I'm super excited. Can't wait to see the second and third round. I think I'm just going to end it here. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Can't wait for the rest of the draft. Thanks for listening. If you're listening to this, you are still craving some Raven. You've seen all the coverage, and you're still craving some Raven. So thank you for listening, and go Ravens!